Hello everyone. My name is Pawan. I look after into Comedkares after industry and community relations. So today we have a prototyping session, webinar session happening for you guys. So we have a women's speaker for this webinar. As an expert, we have Mr. Havish Gadgin from Hubli, Dharwad. So he hails from Hubli basically. So he did his education in Hubli itself, from starting from diploma, and then after his diploma, he was volunteering into Deshpande Foundation. And meanwhile, he joined KL Institute of Technology Hubli. He did his graduation in mechanical engineering from KL Institute of Technology Hubli itself. So meanwhile, he was interested more into prototyping and building own product as a volunteer into Deshpande Foundation, and he was a lead ambassador even in Deshpande Foundation. So he continued his journey, and he was more interested into startups, into building a startup ecosystem. So he joined Deshpande Startups, and he worked almost 3 years as a program associate in Makerspace Lab, and after that he became a senior technical executive into Deshpande Startups. So currently he's serving as a lead engineer in HCL technology. So meanwhile, he was interested into startups. So he has his own venture. So more about his venture and what he does and what is the company is all about. I think that is included in the presentation. So I take over. I hand over this session to Mr. Harish Kadgil to take it forward. And I ask all the students to be more interactive. And if you can enable your camera and audio, that would be good enough. And also keep it interactive. You can stop in between and ask the questions. If you are hesitating, you can just drop down a message in the chat and ask your questions. So Havish, over to you.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Pawan, for a good introduction. And hi everyone. Good evening. How are you all doing, man?
Good evening, sir. Doing good.
I think you guys need to turn on your mic and start opening up. So this is a good session. Basically, almost we are only 10 of us, where we can actually have a good interactive session and get to know each other very well, and also a good session. What's happening today on prototyping would be a great session for you guys to make your own product, also a prototype, to start your own ventures if you need in future. Yeah, I'll just share a screen.
Great. Yeah.
Yes.
Your screen is visible.
You're able to share the screen.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Visible.
Yeah. Hi, and welcome again to everyone for the prototyping session on the physical products. And also we include the case studies, some of the case studies what we ourselves have built during some of the periods or challenging times. Okay. And about me, so basically I'm a product developer and a designer, and helps most of the startups develop their products, and help more than 24 plus product startups to build the products which are already in a market. And most of them were into the agri-tech and also the healthcare. And these were the products which supported for the product startups to build. And also meantime, I would also mentoring some of the students for identifying the problem and also solving the engineering problems. And yeah, so and the meantime, so I was recently joined Excel Technologies as a lead engineer in research and development team and handling team over here. And yeah, so now I quit from HCL and started my own venture called Tortoise AI Private Limited. So there I look after the complete products. So I am a chief product officer and also the co-founder. So along with the team of IIM and IITs, 4 of people. So we started the Toys AI Private Limited. So basically, we are into a toys industry where we are building a personalized AI toys for the childrens. And yeah, and let's jump into the product prototyping, how actually it works and where actually it stands in the design thinking process. So hope I have been said that you are been already been thought of design thinking process. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, great. So where does the prototyping step or the process comes in? After what and before what? Anyone?
Guys,
I
answer.
mean, the
Let's let
prototyping is very much important, right? I mean, let's keep it
Sir,
interactive.
after ideating and before testing.
Great. After ideating and before testing, right? Yes. Yeah. So yes. So as you said, it is after ideating and before testing. Yeah. So basically, and you know that this is a design thinking process, and where this can be implemented or used in our day-to-day life, right? So whenever we fall into a problem, so this is one of the method which most of us use to solve it. Yeah, and in this process, so the prototype and why actually the prototype is important, I will let you know in the next slides. And before that, so let us know how the prototype was being derived. Yeah. And what comes to your mind when you hear or see the word prototype? And I have splitted you for your reference, proto and type.
something of a crude model kind of.
Yes,
A,
crude model,
a
yes.
crude model or a crude product even before we take it to the final. So that would probably
Yes,
define a prototype, even though it has a broad.
exactly, yes. And how actually it was being derived. So basically the prototype was derived from Greek word, right? And most of the words, whatever we use day to day life in terms of a technology, was being derived from the Greek words, right? And can anyone guess what was the Greek word? It is very easy.
I'm not taking a guess because I've already seen. Students, you can just tell it. Tell the
Yeah,
word, like come up with
I
something.
mean, it is very easy.
Yeah, you don't always need to be right. Sometimes tell something that is really funky,
Yes,
and sometimes it's also fun to hear these funky little funny answers.
exactly. And even you can innovate a new word, man.
Yeah, even if nowhere we can put up in the Comedkares dictionary somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. So let us not take more
Um,
time. Let us jump into it. Okay. You
so,
are late.
so as per my knowledge,
Okay.
proto
So
is
this
something.
is
Hello.
yeah. I mean, I have opened the answer there. Prototypon is a word which was taken for
It is
deriving the prototype.
it is something like
Okay.
a first thing we create. Like if you're planning to do a product, it is the first thing we create. Like just
Exactly.
as an example.
Yes. So the prototype is an first model or the first type or the initial model, whatever you guys try to make it out before trying to go ahead for the production or developing a product. Okay. And so this is how the prototype is being derived or defined. So basically, it is as you said. So it is a simple prototype or a simple design which allows user visualize or interact before going for a final developed product. Yeah. And suppose, for example, so you guys use your headphones or watches, whatever the consumer products you use on the day-to-day life, right? So it has some process, So during the process to get the final product to the consumer or the user, so it has been went through certain of the process. Yeah. So that process is being taken in the next slides. And I have been splitted very easily to understand how the prototype are being used and also the different methods to manufacture the prototype. And we come across basically two different type of prototyping process, and we call them as the low fidelity prototypes and the high fidelity prototypes. And most of us regularly use this for prototyping since when we don't want to waste our own money or invest more money on developing a prototype, because after the prototype is been done, so we won't use it for the user as a final product, right? So this is just an initial phase or the initial prototype or a design which can be shown for the user. And let us understand what exactly is the low fidelity prototypes and high fidelity prototypes. On low fidelity prototypes, so this basically represents the simple and incomplete version of the final product. And so can anyone just give the examples?
A paper prototype.
Sorry.
A paper prototype.
Yes, a paper prototype. Yes, ma'am. And we usually does it regularly whenever it comes on our mind, so we just write it, right?
Sketching.
Or
Sketching.
yes, or we sketch it, exactly, sketching, or we also design some parts. Yeah. So these are the some of the examples. So what you can see down there, so some of we does these storyboards or diagrams, animations, which have been done in the softwares, and also the wireframes for the software product developments. So these are some of the example of the low fidelity prototype. And for high fidelity prototype, right? So basically these are like highly functional and interactive ones. So which you can actually feel of doing the prototypes or feel the product. Yeah. So basically we can see the 3D printers what are being used nowadays, the 3D models. Can anyone throw some of the examples? So what exactly the high fidelity prototypes are?
Digital
Computerized
prototype.
prototypes.
Yeah. Yes. So basically, these are the physical models. What as you said. So basically, the physical models are the high fidelity prototypes, and all the 3D printed parts and whatever we can feel. Right. Suppose if we have the model of the watch. Yeah. So before manufacturing the watch, we can actually handle and touch and see, right, without its screen. So I can see this as a watch before it is actually given the life or the user requirements. And while doing the watch or while developing any of the product, so we come across this all 6 type of prototyping models. So you can see that the one which are being the concept sketch or concept sketching comes on the which kind of prototype in the previous slide you have seen. Can anyone come out which kind of prototype it was? So basically low fidelity or high fidelity?
High fidelity, sir.
No. So the concept sketching prototype comes in the low fidelity. So yeah, you can see here, right? So you will just be sketching it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So the concept sketching prototype comes under the low fidelity. And after this, right, the bench model and the fully functional rapid prototype, manufacture production prototype, and the alpha, and also the visual model prototype. Right? So these all are the high fidelity prototypes. So whatever we does it in a paper or the software in the laptop, so this comes under the low fidelity prototype, and the one which you are able to make the model which can actually be interacted with the hands or felt it or seen in the 3D model or used it before the functional prototype is all comes under the high fidelity prototypes.
Sir,
And
a
let us
doubt,
now,
sir.
let us,
Hello, sir.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, sir.
yeah, Santosh.
Will a CAD model be a high fidelity prototype or a low fidelity?
It is a low fidelity prototype, a CAD
Okay.
model, since we can't see it, right?
Okay.
And the model comes under the low fidelity when it actually been simulated and actually been industrial design done. So this all comes under the high fidelity. So before that, a small 2D model or a 3D model comes under the low fidelity.
Okay. For when it is animated, simulated, then it becomes high fidelity.
Yes, yes, exactly. So I will just brief you in the next slides so that you will have an exact picture on spot. And so as I will just brief you individual prototypes, how actually and what are the purpose of each prototypes are being done. Yeah. And on the concept of sketch prototype, right? So you can see here, you can actually use some of the sketching tools. So we have designed, for example, I have taken as a mining helmet, which can be actually this you can visualize, right? This is a 3D sketch, which actually you visualize, but you can't feel it, right? And even the electronic seat assist. So you are just seeing it, or just we call it as a POC, as proof of concept. And basically, this purpose of doing this is to have just a visual look of these solutions. And when after doing this sketching, we can also interact with some of the users, right? So if I want to take a feedback of the product, if I want to take a feedback of anything, whatever I have in a mind, so I can't directly throw whatever is in my mind, make someone else understand, no? So if I am able to put it on a paper, someone can understand how exactly it works, or how exactly I am able to convey my thoughts. Yeah. For that
Yes, sir.
purpose, we use this process where we actually have the concept sketch done. And some of the sketchings, what are the methods what we can use is, so basically the hand sketches on the white paper, on the models or the canvas, and also some of the softwares like Figma, Onshape, or Blender. Yeah. And also the you can also go for some of the uh, this one as well, what to say, the writings, you can just write it and show as well. And also the next one was the bench model prototype. Yeah. And here comes actually the one which are the prototypes, which are the tabletop ones. So basically we does during our the science exhibitions, yeah, during our college days or school days, the science models, which we would actually keep it on the table to explain this is what it does. So but it actually doesn't functions, no? So those are some of the examples over here, what you can actually see and feel. And basically the purpose of doing this was to understand whatever the design you had put down, right, or the sketch, to understand whether it can be designed or implemented or not. And some of the methods how we can do these all things are by basically having the best out of waste and a 3D printing and the vacuum casting, some of the process we come across while doing the prototypes. Best out of waste, most of us follow, right? So whatever the problem we face on our day-to-day life, we just solve them. Yeah. So that is one of the model. And the fully functional rapid prototyping. As probably you might know the rapid prototyping, so it should function. So there is no difference. There is a small difference between the bench model prototype and the functional rapid prototypes. So basically here what happens, the prototypes, whatever we do, actually give some functions out or the applications. So suppose if I want to have the LED smart lights, the lights to be on and off using your mobiles. So I will actually plug in or make it a smart, no? So I can't not only keep it and say it, and I can actually operate it and show the audience it is operating or it is functioning. And some of them, my example are the smart lights you can see here, and also the smart mining helmets. So the lights or the laser lights, the lights or the laser lights which have been added on the smart helmets during the mining can be the example over here. And basically these have been used to test before the final or physical product we will be going ahead. So this will help us out to make the differences before going to the final product, where how the user can be used or how our own the different products or the different sub assemblies inside the product can be mounted and made user friendly. So this functional rapid prototype helps over there. And the fully functional rapid prototype. So here, along with all the 3D printers and the electronic gadgets or the development boards, so you can develop the prototype here using some of the CNC machines or wood routing machines, electronic materials. So you can use this all different resources to develop a product here. And the next one was the visual model prototype. So actually here comes the high fidelity prototype, what we were talking about, the industrial design. Yeah. So this is how it looks. So basically when we are going for the final product, right? So we have already been tested, functional test already has been done, which was already been done using the 3D printers or the rotors, and also the development boards and electronics. And now it is a time to have a visual model, how actually I can iterate my functional prototype or rapid prototype, which was done earlier, how I can actually iterate and make it a polished device as per the feedback from the user. So here comes some of the simulations, what we can actually do in the softwares, and also we can take the feedback from the users, which was being done earlier with the prototypes of the rapid prototypes. And here you can use some of the industrial design tools like SolidWorks or CATIA, where it can give you the exact simulations or give you the exact outcome. And we here actually consider different parameters while designing. So we need to understand how exactly the design for manufacturing or design for assembly is been also been done. So do you guys understand a design for assembly or design for manufacturing?
Hari sir, even I have a small question from the student's point of view. Right, there are so many like just before we start out with visual model prototype, I just would like to ask: is there a set time frame in which, like our prototypes? There are various different stages of prototyping. So, is there a set
Yes.
time frame where we, move from our physical prototype, from a fidelity prototype,
So high
to
fidelity.
completely industrialized form model of a prototype? So, is there a set time frame in which we can do these stages?
Yes, so basically, while you speak about the time frame, right? Time frame.
Yeah.
So it basically depends upon the product what you are working on. So when you work on the medical products or the medical prototypes, so this has the set of different challenges. Yeah. So I will just take you an example. When I was working with one of the medical product or a medical prototype which I was helping out. So when we started designing the prototype, so initially, so there are different steps what we need to go ahead. Okay, so it depends upon the domain, and in the medical prototype, we need to also take an approval from the ethical committee, which have been actually inside the hospital or the organization wherever we are going to test. Yeah. So for low fidelity prototype, we don't need any of the time frame. So for low fidelity prototype, if I have an idea, so we will just write it down, right? So we can write it down and get the low fidelity prototype done as early as possible. So within a day or a two. But to refine that low fidelity prototype, so you just need some feedback, right? From the actually you need to empathize whatever the first step of the design thinking is. So you need to go out on the field and see what exactly the challenge is for the problem or the of the problem. So for that, it takes a time for low fidelity and for the high fidelity prototype, right? So again, there are many challenges where you need to go on to the different steps. So after the ethical committee, so there comes the ISO standardization and also the different standardization when it comes for the medical products. So when it comes for the consumer products or the regular product, whatever we use, which are not harmful for the body or the human being, so you can go ahead with your own set of the time frame with your own what to say, basically depends upon the SWOT. So you need to understand your strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, and also the resources available in and around you. As a Comedkares team are with you guys, I don't feel you guys take a more timeline to get your prototypes done because all the resources are almost available over there. Hope this answers your question.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Sir. It definitely opens a lot of many doubts that we
Yes.
as developing prototypes have. Right? Like, what is my final stage going to be? Is it just going to lie down on the table like how I finished it? So that gives a lot of eye-opening answers to and a lot of clarity.
Yes. So Yuvan, so in a case study, on the first case study, I will take you how we exactly utilize the time frame to do the medical product itself. So that was one of the very easy one which we were not thought of doing it, but the challenges and the time made us to do that. I will just brief you during the case study when we are doing over there. Okay.
Looking forward.
Yes. And this is a pre-production alpha full prototype. So basically, these have been basically like testing on the ground with a batch production of a 50 or 10 or 100. So where this will be regularly going on the field, testing and getting back. So there will be some errors, right? So even till today, some of your smart watches have some problems, no? So similarly, they have been already been tested with all those problems. Then also in the mass production whatever we use now, then also we are actually getting the problems. So this is basically the error or the malfunctioning of the prototypes, what happens during the productization. And for pre-production of the prototypes, you can use some of the CNC machineries and the SMT lines or the SMT machines. So basically, we call it as a surface mount technology machines. So these all are the small machines. So probably you can see how the smartwatch was been built. So this includes the small PCB right inside, which is been a touch screen as well as the PCB, which is actually giving functional output to have on a user interface. To get this done, so we use the SMT lines to produce the electronics. And about a CNC, probably you might know regarding the CNC, that is a computer numeric control machines, which comes for the milling as well as the turning. These are the mechanical words. And these are the manufacturing phase. So again, during this manufacturing phase as well, basically for going for a volume production, before going for a volume production, we use this phase or and the same lines are being used again to manufacture here. Till now, any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. And I will just brief you with a simple example what is a prototype and a product. Okay. So the one what you can see in the white one, right? So this is a prototype, and the one which you can see a mobile is a product. Yeah. So what basically the prototype or a difference what you can see here? I mean, I have written there. Other than that, anything else? Anyone can identify the difference?
Product can be used by masses directly, but prototype is just for you to use, for you to
Exactly.
see
So
how the
basically,
product is.
yeah, here on the prototype side, you can see the buttons. Okay, so which have been actually been controlled or the knobs, right? And in the mobile application, you can also see the buttons which are been added in the application itself. And the cost between both of them differs a lot, no? So during a prototype, so we need to invest more for one individual prototype to be built. But for a product, if we invest one time, it can be used for many of the products. Yeah, so basically it was a controller, which you can see here. And let us jump for the case study, how exactly we have done or we have done some of the prototypes. I have taken only one prototype or a product what we have built. And let us jump onto this. Okay. So basically what happened on March 24, 2020? Can anyone remember?
I think this is one date that we all do not want to collectively remember.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, unless you were a student then.
Exactly. So yeah, so this was a COVID period, right? I mean, the day when Modi came and announced us from tomorrow onwards. So you guys are not able to come out or shouldn't come out of the home. Yeah. So we were almost locked down for 6 or 7 days earlier, or as per the first instruction, and that continued till 2-3 months. No. So that was a huge problem where all of us were kept on. And even that was a very bad situation during the period when most of us, as well as the frontline warriors, had a problem, right? And I will just quickly go on case study how we tackled this in our regions. And what happened during this period was, frontline workers were almost affected, and they were under high pressure, no? So they were almost exposed to the patients, and so this was a huge problem during the period, right? And what happened during the period was, so some of the government officials and the doctors approached us. So there are problems which we need to solve, and there were a bunch of problems which, as an engineer or these problem solvers, we took ahead there. I will just take there, and the doctors and the frontline warriors you can see here who came to help, take a help from us. And basically, what do you think the problems were there during the COVID period for frontline warriors, apart from restricting us from going out? There were many problems, no?
Yeah, you people can also state the problems that you faced
Yes,
from your perspective during the lockdown. It's not not like a really broad question. It can be specific to you as well. Like
exactly.
something that you personally felt that, oh, I was affected. These were the things that affected me during the lockdown. Like I like to go and play outside, and I was not allowed to go to the fields to play with my
Yes,
friends, even though I knew that I was completely free. Right? So
exactly.
that also can be a problem.
Yes. Can anyone open up?
Yeah, can you
So
like
food
just
delivery was a major problem
Yes, food delivery was a very bad problem during the
because
period.
it was widely contacted. So we wanted it contactless. So food
Yes, yes,
delivery was the major problem.
exactly. Yes.
Unemployment, sir.
Yeah.
Unemployment.
Unemployment, yes, it was very bad over the period there. Yeah. So let us go ahead, and I'm running out of a time. Okay. And after this, right? So what happened? So we listed down some of the problems what the frontline warriors were facing. We went to the hospitals. Some of the police came to our home. Doctors came to our home. The government officials came to our home, and it was a very horrible period which I faced during the time there. Even I was exposed very badly for the out the COVID hospitals over there, but I was completely isolated in one of the room on the terrace there. Okay, and basically when we see the problem of the frontline warriors was the shortage. Yeah, so the shortage of the gloves, face shields, and the mask during the period. Yeah, because since they were almost exposed out, and they were on the crucial period, so they were having this problem. So what we did was, so this was during the first COVID lockdown, the first or two days after the lockdown was announced. Yeah, so they came to us and asked for the help, and we listed on the problem, and we came to know that there was a shortage of all the requirements the doctors had, and the major problem there was the root cause we identified over there was. Can anyone say the root cause? What was the root cause for the frontline warriors to get these all facilities done? Yeah.
I think I have a personal connect over here because my brother is a doctor. So the basic thing that they found was like it was most of the equipment that they were using, like face masks or gloves and all, they were usually single use. And if you're utilizing gloves and you're using a mask that is constricted to your face, every time you need to take out or put in, so you have a risk of the COVID
Infection.
germs just touching your glove and accidentally just getting to your nasal and your mouth. So that was a prime problem that I think would we would be zeroing down on.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and basically what happened during the period was, I mean, the root cause what we identified was the supply chain. Okay, so the first week, right? So when there was a lot of restrictions from the government, so there were no supply chain happening regularly or the transportation happening to get access to the products. And over the period, even it became a shortage as well. Yeah, so everyone fought to get an individual mask, so the one surgical mask almost it costed around 100 or 200 rupees during the period. Yeah, and basically what concept we applied when this problem was there, right? So we applied a concept called science around us. So everywhere there is a science, no, in and around us. Whatever we see, there is a science. Yeah, we
Yes,
applied
sir.
we applied science around us concept over there and listed down all the materials which can be easily available for us to manufacture the product. So we basically finalized to do the face shield because it was a need of the hour. This was one of the product which we built over there. Okay. And after finalizing all the aspects, we selected the materials, and even after selecting the materials also, there was a problem to reach out to the vendors. So during the period, what happened, the police in the morning would come to my home, take me, go to the shops. So we selected a material in such a way that it was very easily available in the local market and in all the districts, all the hardware shops, all the places. Okay. So basically, we selected two material which were actually in need was a PET sheet, which was almost available in all the stationaries and the hardware shops. You can probably you might come across this PET sheets which have been already regularly used in your the project works or the stationaries, whatever you do the bindings and all. Yeah, so that was the PET sheet which you can see in the first image, and the second image was the PVC band. Okay, so this band is been used for the edging of your all the carpentry works, all the what to say the woodworks. So most of the carpenters use these PVC strips, and we built this face shield. You can see this product, right? So you can see this one. The white band is the PVC sheet, and the PET sheet is the transparent one. So this was the one which we built earlier and which hardly costed us for per facial. It was around 3 rupees. So this was the need of the hour, and we built and tested it on the field during those period. Since we were almost closely working with all the government officials, it made us, or it was very easy for us to actually test it on the field. And this is how we tested. So we worked with the local traffic police stations and the banking sectors, as well as, so even we actually donated for the district health officers of the Howard 10,000 units. And also you can see the securities and officers using these products. So you can see this, right? So how basic model it is, the product it is. Yeah, it was very basic, no? So this is what do it yourself. So this is what actually comes under the tabletop prototypes or the second process. After testing this all things, right? So there were some feedbacks what the users had given us. So even though we tested with the 10,000 units, so we had received a feedbacks from the users, and we iterated the prototypes. And this was how it was finalized. So probably it was during the September, August or September, when we built this the injection molding prototype. So this was completely used for us. We using the CNC. We made the molds, tool and die making using a tools. Using injection molding, we were able to build this product. And this was how it was completely evolved, the prototype. Yeah, so you can see the first one which we built was almost a square, and you can see the threads we used, and finally we came into the final product which was tested and used here. Yeah, and you can see the timeline here. So what earlier you were asking about a timeline of the product. The first prototype was almost tested before 15 days of the problem. The first prototype was this, the one which I'm wearing here. So this was the first prototype, which you can see the straight one. And post that, we iterated and made it a circle or a curve shape. Yeah, any questions till now?
So actually, there's one
Okay.
question from pertaining from design, the perspective of design, right? Like from the first prototype until the fourth prototype, like there is almost no barrier. Like there is like the forehead is here and the face shield is directly almost touching your nose, right? So where did that idea of giving a spacer arise from? And
Yes.
was that a crucial
Yeah,
point?
I will just say you. So what you can see here, right? There was no a space between these two, right? So this was the first one which we built. So there was no space between the forehead and the strip here. Yeah. What happened? So when we talked with some of the doctors, so doctors, you can see wearing the specs. Yeah. So when we received a feedback of from them using the specs. Okay, so this was almost when you see here the specs knows the everything we're touching to the body. The sheet was touching to the body. So when we received the feedback from the customer or the user, so we iterated and gave a space from one point which was been almost touching the forehead to the one more. Almost there was around 2 inches or to 1 inches differences between the front and the space. So one thing what you need to actually point out over here is the user interactions are very much important while developing a prototype. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, good then. So so we have one more case study. So if we have a time, we can jump through that. Pawan, do we have a time? Pawan?
Yeah, we have 10 more minutes.
Okay, good then. Quickly, I will go through that. Okay. So one more case study I will just take out. So basically, this regularly happens in our day-to-day life. Okay. So everyone knows this, right? So basically, the overhead tanks overflows regularly, yeah, and we waste almost so much of water, yeah. And for this, there are some of the solutions in the market already available. Yes. Can you guys name from solutions?
Like mostly in the cities, there are automated solutions for this.
Yes.
Like you have controllers that control your pump, and you just install them and forget them.
Yes.
And the pump, it'll pump water whenever it's low, and then so on and so forth. So that's one solution that is widely accepted among the community, especially in
Yes.
cities.
Exactly. Yeah. So here, yeah. So as you said, yes, there are solutions, many solutions for controlling the water and even indicating the water overflow or yes or no. And most of them take this as a project and do for their final year projects as well. And apart from when you see there are most of the solutions available, and most of us as a students or most of the people mindset is, so there is already a product or the solution already existing, so we don't want to see what the problem actually the existing solutions are giving. Yeah. And what are the feasibility of them. And also keep one thing in mind, so when there is already a product in a market, so it is not solving 100% of the requirement of the user, so there will be a gap. Yeah. So how you need to think on how we can actually fill that gap to build that product. So for this purpose you don't need to innovate or invent a new things, so just innovate some things. Yeah. So what we did was, so basically we just added or made a product whatever which was already available in the market. We made better, faster, and just an cost efficient as well as the efficient product. Yeah. And all the product, right, all the product whatever are already available in a market or wired. Yeah. So how we can actually make them wireless, how we can actually control all the product wireless, right from the motor till the indicator, and also the one which is almost available in a second or a third floor. And the problem with an existing solutions or the product what already available in the market now, so this uses the wire which can't be taken till the 14th or 15th floor. Here in Bangalore, you can see almost uh, 15 or 16th floor building, more than that, right? How we can actually make it wireless? So we built a complete product wireless, and this was how the first prototype looked like. So we just took laser cutting cutouts and made some boxes and used that to be inside here, and post that we 3D printed some of the box, the second image what you can see here. So we 3D printed this. And the third product, right, what we built was actually this one, the final product after getting the feedback from the user. What we built was this one, what you can see here in the image. So basically this was controlled by RFID, basically the radio frequencies. And this one can actually get the radio frequencies, the 1 kilometer of the distance of 1 kilometer vertically, around 1 kilometer, not exactly 1 kilometer, around 1 kilometer vertically I'm speaking about. Okay. And this is a plug and play device where anyone can install it. And this was how exactly we built our own solutions, solutions. Yeah. And I'm done with the presentation now. If you guys have any questions apart from this or within this, I'm open to have questions. Yes.
Yeah,
Any
like
questions from your end?
you can also type in the questions if you have already thought through them, right?
Yeah. I mean, the one which you guys see, right? So the water level indicator or the controller. So you always flash this problem regularly in your house or during your routine days, how we can solve. There are many other solutions. So not only the solution what we have developed of wireless controller, so there are many other solutions as well. Any questions for me? I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah.
Sir, I have some questions about topics. So, like,
Yeah, yes.
one of our topic is to reduce white fly infections. So, like, we are having a doubt on whether, like, if we build an RC board that can climb a tree and it can like spray the chemicals. So, is it feasible? Like, from your point of view, can you give a suggestion for that?
So for what problem exactly you are solving it? So are you solving it for the Erica nut infection you are talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So basically, when it comes for the Erica nut, right? So almost it will be around 15 feet height, right? 15 or 16 feet heights. So where the nuts have been infected, and you guys need to go and spray the pesticide for the nuts. Yes.
Not as
Yeah.
nuts, sir. Like the leaves include everything, like
Mhm,
palm trees and all palm trees.
mhm. Okay.
Like so, like spraying it to the bottom side of these leaves.
Mhm.
So, like, will be
Okay.
able
So
to
you
put.
want to build a RC boat for it, which will climb the palm tree and spray.
Yeah. Yes.
So what? How much height the palm tree is?
Say an average boundary height, like we just thought about it, like we haven't calculated any of it, just an idea that came to my mind, so just asking
Yeah,
your
yeah,
opinion.
yes. So there are. I mean, for example, if you want to, I will just give you an advice. Okay. So you need to
Yeah.
understand the purposes over here. Okay. So the one which I said regularly was talk to the user regularly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who is your user? So user will be
Yeah.
a farmer, right?
Yeah,
Or
yes, sir.
the operator. If you want to convert this into a business model, you can keep your own operator who can actually go operate your model and spray the pesticide or whatever the thing and come down, right? So there are two different models or the business models how you think of. Yeah. So if
Yeah.
you want to keep your own team who will actually work on my uh, product, which will actually go and help the farmer to spray, which is almost height where the farmer can't reach. Yeah.
Mm.
So for that, your product is feasible. For the one more part was the farmer to be a user. So you need to educate the farmer, the first challenge. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also is he is not in need of the product regularly.
Yeah.
So he don't use it daily, right? So
Yes,
whenever it is
yes.
infected, I will use this. Otherwise, I will not use that.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
and you
yes.
are keeping your prototype or a product for a long period. And here the users, okay. So users will be your own team or the own stuff if you are going to make a product out of it. Or you will be your own user for
Yeah.
your prototype. So you can't say a farmer to use your own prototype and make it because already this is an idle product, right? So it is almost not been used daily or a routine.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is where you need to understand the user, how exactly the user requirement is.
Mm.
So the first process of a design thinking says you the empathy. Yeah. So if you are very clear, I mean, the one thing what we or I follow is I spend more on empathy part. There are many solutions, man. There are many solutions existing in the world. Okay.
Yes.
You just need to innovate it. Just make efficient out of it. Yeah. So if
Yeah.
you are spending more time on empathy, you will understand whether I need to build a product or no.
Okay. Yeah. So we could provide the farmer as a service.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That is a new learning for me. Like that thing didn't even cross my mind. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, so for whom you are solving, right? He only has your answers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go and speak to your farmer, whomever you are trying to solve. No? So go and talk to him. So he himself will say that, no, Baba, I will not use it daily. Okay. So I need it whenever it has been infected. If you need, you can come on that day, spray and go. For that purpose, you don't need to build a product which the farmer uses. For that purpose, you need to build a product which your team uses, which is actually efficient.
Yeah.
So, or a spray a product. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Any questions?
I have a question pertaining, like, when we are converting a prototype, like from, especially the challenge comes, especially in the field of agri-tech, right? When you have electronics involved and a lot of computational things involved, when we are especially providing we have these drones actually supplying uh, uh, fertilizers and pesticides all throughout the field, right? So what would be the primary challenge that we as innovators would face, or while building these prototypes, how to efficiently integrate tech as well as robustness together? How efficiently can we do that without increasing the cost as well as making it more robust?
Yes. So basically, what happens, most of us, I mean, even I felt this problem earlier. So what the problem we does over there was we follow a iterative process. Okay. So we build an electronic component first. Afterwards, we build a mechanical part. Afterwards, we build a software. Afterwards, a process. Right. We have some process which we follow there. Yeah. So that is where we are actually spending more time and also investing more money on there. Yeah. And basically, if we are doing everything parallelly, okay, so if the electronics person are working on electronics side, the person on a mechanical working on the casing of that or the mechanism of that, so parallelly he will be working, and you guys are not spending more time. When you spend a more time, you are investing a more money on to that. So basically time is nothing but a money, right? So this is how, if you follow the agile method or agile process, so parallelly working on a different fields. So someone, if you are working on a business model or a business part, if you are into a business, someone who goes onto the field, work along with a user on the field who actually uses a prototype which has been deployed in the field there, he regularly gives a technical team inputs. So this is what the user is saying. This is what my requirement is. And when he says this, you as an engineer or the person who is actually building a product, build a robust product. Yeah, there is a less, I mean, the margin where you can actually have some quick interactions. So if everything is been done by an individual person, basically it takes some more time.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, Mr. Harish. It was great listening to you. And
Great.
do we have any other questions? Radhika, Rakshita, Mehak, and Anushri?
No, sir.
No, sure.
Okay.
Okay, great guys. It was a great session.
Yeah, I think time to conclude if they don't have any questions. Anyway, yeah. So students, thanks for joining, and I think it helped you guys very much, and you guys gonna implement the suggestions given by Havish. So yeah, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Harish for joining this session on a really short notice, and coming up with such an insightful presentation and also covering all the topics. So yeah, Harish, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you all. Thank you. Meet you again. Bye bye.
Thank you. Chalo, bye. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Yeah. Bye everyone. And it was great having you in the webinar. Bye.